What's up, guys? Brett Okamoto from ESPN, joined by Kamaru Usman, who is still in New York City. He was there for UFC 322. I'm sure that a lot of you were aware that he was there. I don't. They showed you on the celebrity cam a few times. I don't know if they were showing your reactions to any of the fights, but we appreciate you hopping on with me while you're still in New York. You flying
Yeah,
home to that? Flying home today?
yeah, right, right. No, thank you. Thanks for having me on. No, it was I mean, obviously every time they come to MSG, it's always electric. They always really bring a big bad card here. And once again, this last Saturday delivered. It delivered for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I was there as well. Very, very entertaining main card. And it was like a welterweight showdown. Obviously, I got specific questions to ask of you about a lot of what we saw, but I want to kind of give the floor to you. What was sort of your general thought? What do you find yourself thinking about since Saturday night?
It was kind of what I expected. I knew that that's the type of situation that was going to go one or two ways. And that was going to be either Jack Della is able to step forward and kind of put that pressure on Islam, or Islam is the only other guy in the division besides myself that can put him down, hold him down, and just kind of pick the fight out of him slowly. And that's exactly what happened. Islam definitely proved that the size didn't matter, that he was already big anyways.
Hmm.
And he just, I mean, it was 19 minutes. When you have 19 minutes of control time on someone, that shows domination right there. And Islam showed that. So, no, I'm extremely happy for him. Now, as far as next steps, I mean, to be honest, it's no secret what I want. Um, I think it's logical. I think it makes sense. But you have all the naysayers out there that are really out here now going, no, it should go here, it should go here, it should go here, and it's really unfortunate because where were those naysayers when Volkanovski uh, fought for his title? So I try not to pay attention to all those people. I think for the company, one of the biggest questions were, can you come back? Can you beat one of the young, hungry, dangerous guys that we have right now in the crop, in the mix?
Hmm.
And I went out there and I answered those questions. So it's kind of like, okay, well, what am I doing here? Am I just kind of here now to steal? Because I am a name in the division that I guess the company, and you can trust that is going to really kind of carry that title with pride and defend that title. So it's up to the company. It's not up to me. My best case scenario, I would love to fight for that title, win that title, and defend that title against all these new couple guys. But if the company wants to go another way, I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, not, I mean, and I think that's obviously a very balanced way of looking at it. And I don't want to start talking just completely hypotheticals, but just sitting here
Right,
listening to you talk. I feel like if the company wants to do this and put you in a title fight, like now is the time. Like why
right.
push it off? Like this is the right time. And if they don't, then you are kind of looking at a situation like you were in the last one where you're fighting a guy like Joaquin Buckley, you're fighting a younger guy who's coming up, who has got a lot to gain against you. You don't have as much to gain. And so it does make me think like when you're watching Carlos Prates on Saturday and you're watching Michael Morales, are you watching them thinking like, I might fight this guy? Or are you watching almost like a fan? Is like your mind kind of so far be like, has it already moved on from that guy, from those guys? Or do you find yourself thinking like, no, this could still impact me?
I'm a fan first and foremost. I'm a fan because I like those guys. I mean, especially Prates. I love what he's been able to do, and we had him on our show pound for pound a little while ago. And after the loss to Gary, you could see kind of affected him uh, uh, a little bit to where he was thinking, and I had a talk with him, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing it. He was thinking about changing things and a lot of things, and I said, no, you don't do that. You don't change that. You be you, and you continue because the only way for you to really grow and learn is by situations like that and mistakes like that. So no, he didn't change it. He still came out, especially he wanted to change the entrance song. And I said, no way in hell. You do not change that. You still come out to that. And man, he came out. I'm just kind of proud to kind of watch these guys now, even Michael Morales. But even in all of that, there's not a part of me that goes, okay, there might be a potential of me having to fight these guys. But I think about it from a defense side. Like, oh, I might have to defend the title against this guy. I might have to
Mhm.
defend against that guy. That's the position of which I'm looking at these guys from. But I'm a fan of all these guys. I think the welterweight division right now is the hottest division in the company, and I'm excited to be a part of it because when I was the champion and I was running through the division, it was hot. But when you are running through the guys in the division, and then it's like, oh, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? But now there's new guys, there's fresh guys,
Yeah.
and I'm excited.
How do you feel your chances are? I mean, I'm asking you to kind of speculate here, but like, yes,
My
we all
chances to fight these guys, to beat these guys, or what?
no, 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 to get the title fight. We all
To get
you're
the
right.
title fight.
We all know what you want. There is no
Right.
secret what Kamaru Usman wants. And now Islam has even said, I would like to fight Kamaru. There's a lot of appealing things about this, but as you said, there are some naysayers that say it doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, what do you think your chances are?
Well, here's the big thing is I've been seeing some of these podcast guys or so-called sport MMA analysts or fake analysts or whatever um, that never were in this sport, never fought in this sport, and just run. And these were the same guys that were going, "Oh, Usman's washed. Oh, Joaquin Buckley's gonna just take care of him," and all these things. And they don't know anything about this sport. Listen, if given the opportunity, I'm going to try to maximize it and go out there and do what I feel that I'm capable of doing. It was the same situation when I was fighting Tyron Woodley. It's like, no, you shouldn't be next. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. It is what it is. I went out there and fought, and I did my job. And these same naysayers are saying, "Oh, Alexa Grasso is like, down the list that she shouldn't be fighting for the title because she wasn't the next number one contender." Guess what? She went out there and won the title. So it is what it is. And look at that. Jack Della wasn't supposed to fight for the title. But when
Yeah.
given that opportunity, he went out there and he maximized it and did what he had to do. So I don't care what these people have to say. For me, as far as what I feel about the chances, I think the chances are great. I mean, just like you and I just discussed, the time would be now to fight for the title because what does it do by having me fight another Michael Morales? I'm still in the same position as I am now. I fight Michael Morales and I do what I did to Buckley to Morales. I'm still in the same position.
Yep.
And then there's still there's a lot of guys in the welterweight division that could potentially put their name in that hat. With all respect, I respect it, but if this is also an entertainment company, you want to do the biggest, baddest
Mhm.
fights. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer here.
Well, and Islam coming out and immediately saying, I'm going to be defending my title a lot of times. Like the way I also look at it is those guys will get their shot. If they keep having success, you are towards
Absolutely.
the later part of your career. I mean, it's a very easy thing to say. So if you're going to make that fight, and Islam has said he wants that fight, it does make sense to me. And there is a lot, you can make a case for a lot of different guys in the division. No one's making a very strong case for one guy in the division, right? There's not just this one obvious choice. There's a group of them. I think the one you're going to come down to with the most competition who might mess this up would be Ilia. Do you feel that way, or like if you don't end up fighting Islam, my prediction, just sitting here on the outside, is that it would be because Islam is fighting Ilia. What do you think?
Okay. That's a great one, and rightfully so. Ilya is a powerhouse. What Ilya's been doing is phenomenal, and I've been singing his praises from the start. I think he's extremely talented and a damn good fighter. But why is that position different than my position? Do you do you foresee Ilia Topuria coming up to welterweight, potentially winning the title and staying and just defending against welterweights?
No,
No, we don't
no,
see
I
that.
don't. I don't see that.
And he just growing into the lightweight division. And so we don't see that. Of course, it would be just for what? To make a humongous fight for the company, a big fight for the company.
Mhm.
And yeah, but the thing is just for that. It's for the entertainment purpose of that fight happening. But in that case, what does Islam have to gain from that? Islam just put the work in and grew into this division and went out there and dominated the current champion. What does he gain from fighting Ilia Topuria, who was a featherweight, moved up to lightweight, and now moving up to welterweight. Really nothing to gain except all to lose. If something goes wrong and you lose, you lost to a featherweight, you know? So listen, I think Ilia Topuria is extremely talented. And if they don't go with me and they go with him, I'm not, I don't want to say I won't be disappointed, but I'm not going to be upset. Like, as a fan of the sport, of course I would watch that for sure.
I don't have a problem with Islam and Ilia. I do have a little bit of a problem with it being at 170 pounds, and I think that's kind of what you're saying. Islam at 170, because I do want to revisit that a little bit. First of all, do you think Jack mentally broke, or do you think he got hurt?
No,
Because it looked like he was like compromised in some way. What do you think happened to Jack? Is where I want to start this
no,
now.
he wasn't mentally broken. He wasn't hurt. Jack tried from the opening bell to the closing bell. But this is one I say about these guys like Jack Della. They're very, very dangerous guys. And you see a couple of guys like that in the division right now. Like even Prates gives me a little bit of this. To where there's holes in the game. There's holes there, but these guys have a will to where it's like at any moment, even if I'm able to stand up and have an opportunity, I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna do something to potentially try to stop this fight.
Mm.
And same with JDM. He tried. You just were just outgunned. You were outsmarted. You were outpositioned. That's what I feel like I do to guys. Like the same with Joaquin Buckley. I take nothing away from Buckley. I think Buckley is extremely talented. I think Buckley's going to do some damage in this division, in the top of the division, because even in the 5 rounds of me controlling him and just kind of outmaneuvering and outpositioning him, he never just said, "You know what? I'm tired. I'm going to give up. I'm going to give up my neck, choke me, and put me out." He did never do that. These guys keep fighting. They just try to look for an opportunity to get back up. So it's just he doesn't have the knowledge yet, doesn't have the timing yet to really work on those things, to really kind of shut down those holes.
Mhm.
And I think there's a couple of guys in the division because what Islam did to JDM, do you not think Islam can do that to Process? Do you not think Islam can do that to Morales?
Mhm.
That looks a lot familiar. That looks very similar to what me and Buckley just look like. Do you not think I can do that to Process? Do you not think I can do that to Morales? And so it's it's just one of those things. Listen, I'm a fan of all these guys in the top 10. I love watching them fight. Prates, Morales, the Buckleys, um, you know, Brady's. I love watching them all fight. But at the time, I think right now is the time to, if you're gonna do a fight like this, and it's rare to get two guys that are friends, that are cordial,
Yeah.
to say, okay, let's compete against one another
Hmm.
for the masses to watch to see who can best the other. Usually it's a no, 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 I won't do it. I won't do it.
Yeah.
And I was one of those. I passed up on Israel at this time, yeah. But obviously that was a little different situation because of the significance culturally of everything. But this, I think it makes sense. If Islam wants to compete and try that, and I do too, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I don't think, have we ever had a former pound for pound versus pound for pound fight? I
Like
don't think that's ever happened.
a former fight a current pound for pound. Yeah,
No, yeah,
I'd really have to think about that. And I do want you to describe to me like I mean, we know you're very cordial. We know you have utmost respect for each other. We know you're even friendly. How far does that go?
yeah.
Like, how close of a relationship do you have with Islam? And no matter as close as that is, when you see him sit at a press conference and they ask who he wants to fight, and he's like, "I would fight Kamaru Usman." Does that like another man saying he wants to fight you? Does that still have like an emotional reaction a little bit? Like you keep saying compete,
No.
but you're going to go in there and fight this guy if he says that, you know? So like, is there a little bit of like, all right, let's go, let's fight, you know?
That's a damn good question. I think not right now. I think it on fight week, maybe fight night, maybe those emotions might change. But I've said it's no secret. I love Islam. And I'm close with all those guys over there, Habib and Juba and Usman and Umar. I like those guys. I really do. Um, and also with Rizvan and Ali working with the mix,
Mhm.
there's no animosity here. There's no bad blood, just competition. We do this for free in the gym every day. Now, for us to go out there and just entertain the masses, I love it. I think it would be great. Now, on fight week and fight night, we're staring at each other, knowing that we are going to have to punch each other. I think that feeling might change momentarily, but if I do hurt him and he's down and there's a follow up shot to potentially put him away, that's that's the difference. Is I won't take that shot.
Mm.
I won't. Well, I say that now, but you obviously emotions are different when you're in there, you know. And same with him. You who knows? He might get in there, he land a few shots and follow up. So you who knows? But it's just early on in my career, I wouldn't have really felt as comfortable. I would say having a conversation like this about potentially fighting a friend or a guy like this, but I think I'm just wiser now and understanding that these opportunities to entertain the masses at a level like this and a magnitude of a fight like this don't come often. So when it does, maximize it and move on, you know?
Yep, yep. I only got like two more questions for you. One of them is like get me excited about the fight and not from a resume perspective. I mean, I get all that. You know, you put it on a poster and you guys have all these numbers and it's like, okay, I'm going to see this guy fight this guy and they have done it all. What about when the actual fight starts? I mean, what do you see as what like the little nuances of where this fight is won and lost? Like, get me excited to watch it.
Yeah, I think if you really, real fans, if you really watch this fight this weekend, see how Islam kind of just neutralized everything. It's really, really similar to the way that, you know, I neutralize guys. And you're able to just kind of little movements, you're able to kind of see everything because they have to stay at bay because at any moment they know you can change levels and get them down. And then once they're down there, it's going to be almost impossible for them to stand back up. And so guys have to be cautious. I've been in a situation like that, and I had to fight Kobe Covington the first time. You had to be careful because if you step forward too hard, this guy might change levels and put you down. And vice versa with me. He knew he had to do the same thing. And so what does that create? Two fighters that stare at each other and just say, you know what? I'm already in here. Let's do this. And that's what you got from Covington and I. And why not with Islam and I? Islam is a competitor. Islam is extremely tough, and Islam knows that everything is riding on this. I don't want to take an L here. Same with me. I know that everything is riding on this. I don't want to take an L here. Pound for pound versus pound for pound. Who is the pound for pound? Who is the greatest welterweight? And I think that question will be answered in that fight.
Yeah, no, I mean you make a good case for it, man. And it is right there. It'll be very, very interesting to see what the UFC does. The only other thing I would ask you is it's always been this phenomenon of there are fights going on to the UFC, but then if a fight breaks out in the crowd, everybody starts watching the fight in the crowd. And there was one of those on Saturday. So I wanted to get your opinion on it because you sounds like you were already in your seat, of course, and you were already right there.
Yeah.
And then kind of knowing you the way I do, Kamaru, I kind of wanted to ask you anything appealing to you about a street fight or like what would it take? What would it take to get Kamaru Usman in a street fight at this point in your life?
No, no, nothing appealing except we're just it's just society the way it is now. We're living in a time where people feel that you can say or do anything with no consequence. And then us being who we are and being a little bit more fortunate than some others with whether it's finances or status in life that we are targets. You pick on them and if they do react or do anything to hold me accountable, I'm going to sue them. I'm going to take them to court. I'm going to do any of these things. And so it's just a sad day that we're in right now. But that's the reality. If you, as a man, man versus man, because we all know men war, if you create a situation to where there's going to be some chaos whenever I see you, when I see you, be prepared for that. And, I'd like to shy away from all of that, but listen, I'm still a human and I have emotions. If you say and you do and you put things out there, that insults me in a way to where I feel like the ultimate as a man, the ultimate way is to physically solve that issue, bro, you have to be ready. And I just remember being in there. I just heard the commotion. I heard fans cheer, and it's like, oh, okay, somebody walking out that's way more famous than everybody that's in here right now.
Hmm.
And next thing I know, I saw chairs going, the furniture being moved around in that arena. And I'm like, well, what's going on right there? Who hates each other enough that there's that big of a commotion between, I mean, they cleaned out all the security,
Hmm.
you know. And then I look and I'm like, who let this guy in the arena? Knowing how he attacks everybody in the community. So I mean, you kind of knew it was going to potentially happen when
Yes.
you got the west side of the arena with Dagestan, and
Hmm.
then this one guy comes in there, and you knew something was going to happen because the Dagestanis don't play like that.
Yeah.
You insult one of us, you insult all of us. So you expect that it was going to happen.
It was the most predictable thing ever. When the fight broke out, I was up on the ESPN suite, so I was up in the rafters, and we
Right,
were
right.
watching it, and I was like, "It's Dylan Dennis," and obviously couldn't see him, but I was like, "Dylan Dennis is in the bottom of that pile. I guarantee it." So,
Did you
yeah,
hear
UFC,
Dana's response to it? Dana said, when they said something's going on over there, I knew exactly what's happening.
of course, of course. But
Crazy, crazy.
yeah, Saturday was a good time, man. It was I'm sure it was very, very fun for you because you're close to that team. And just personally, man, yeah, I wish you the best and I hope you get what you want. I don't know if I'm like as a journalist supposed to say what kind of fight I hope for, but it would make a lot of sense if the UFC did it. So if it works out and if what the UFC wants, you'd be well deserving of it. So we'll see what happens.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.